Okay, moving on. Working our way through trigonometry, we're about to head into word questions. Just before we do, we're going to stop and have a look at a couple of, at least one situation here. That is, looking at this picture here, and I cannot see a right angle. Everything we've been doing has been relying upon this 90-degree angle here. There's not one in this picture. However, there is an isosceles triangle. So these signs mean that if that is x, that is also x. Isosceles triangle have two sides the same, and the bottom two angles are also identical. There's also one more property. That means if we cut it in two, it always forms a right angle, and these is exactly in half. If that had been 8 across the bottom, it's now a 4 and a 4. So that's the property of isosceles triangles that we're going to use for this question. For instance, here is now the bisector that meets at a perpendicular angle. Only true if they are the same length, by the way. So that was 4, so here's 2 of that 4, and here's the other 2. And now we have what we need. So in essence, we don't need the whole triangle, we only need this part, 2 and x, and the right angle. So, and there's the 61 because those two are the same. Looking over here, this is our hypotenuse, this is adjacent. Do you believe that's cos? Equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Now I'll write it underneath over here. Okay, for this question, it's cos of 61. The adjacent is 2 and the hypotenuse is x. I have an x on the bottom. That means this question is going to be divide. Okay, ready to type that in. Boom, boom, to divide by cos 61. Hope everybody understands why I didn't do shift cos, because I've already got the angle. So when we have the angle, we don't use shift. So 4.16. Okay, centimeters. Kaboom. Okay, part B. So we have another isosceles triangle with an unknown angle. Okay, because it's isosceles, this angle goes here and here. This is 6, this is, and here is my one that splits the triangle in half. So really, this is the triangle I'm going to use for my maths. So if that whole distance is 3, half that distance is 1.5. 1.5. 6 is the long side. Alpha is here. All right, so that's the triangle that I'm actually going to use quite often with these more complicated questions. We're going to have a situation, we're going to pull out one triangle at a time. What rule uses hypotenuse and adjacent? Do you believe it is? Cosine again. Cos equals A on H. Cos of some angle I don't know. Notice it's another Greek letter. This is alpha, by the way. You've probably heard that word before. 1.5 over 6. Well, looking for an unknown here. How to get rid of cos? Back over this area. So shift cos, arc cos, inverse cos. Whatever your calculator has, this is how we write it. All right. So shift cos, bracket 1.5 divided by 6. Gives me an angle of 75 degrees. 75.5 degrees to sorted.